I have some very distinct and pivotal memories in my life of times that you just know, and you make a decision in that moment to follow that truth that you know or to ignore it. And in hindsight, boy, can you see the difference. How things went incredibly right for you when you followed your guidance, and how things went way off the rails sometimes when you didn't. Very often we either just want something to happen so badly that we don't listen to our warning bells. Like when I got married years ago, it was the last of my single friends and I was lonely. I knew I shouldn't marry the guy. Every warning bell went off for me and I ignored all of it. But we'll get into that in a bit. Then there were other times when I made a huge leap of faith, when I felt it was right. I had no idea how things would work out, but it just did because I trusted my intuitive feelings. Like when I decided to take a job in California in my 20s, and many thought I was crazy at 25 to pick up and move across the country by myself without knowing where I was even going. It felt right. I knew I was supposed to do it. I left a lot behind and just trusted that it was right. It wasn't even something that I pursued. The job and the company pursued me. Everything aligned and it worked out wonderfully. Such a great experience. I was so glad I didn't listen to my own fears or the fears of others and just did what I felt was right for me. But this is our own internal compass, our soul, which is connected by our heart. And if we choose to follow that over our fearful mind, we will always be on track. Our divine guides are always there to support and guide us too. But it's really about tapping into that information, the truth, the best path for us, from the divine universal mind, from a place of love and not a place of fear, because the divine is love, and our mind generally leads with fear. So let's talk a little bit more about this today, how your intuition and your guidance is just being honest with you. Will you listen? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Alchemy of Manifestation podcast. I'm Jen Tammy at the Wheelhouse Project, and we are going to talk about how that sweet heart of yours is going to help you create the life of your dreams. How many times have you ignored a gut feeling? Did you acknowledge it? Did you see later what it was warning you about or leading you to? Intuition and guidance is about honesty, seeing the truth, feeling it, knowing that something is or isn't right. We have free will, of course, to think about it, to ignore it, to make a different decision, or to follow our intuitive guidance. What we need to learn to do, though, is to recognize it, to acknowledge our intuition or guidance when we get it. And if we don't follow it, to say to ourselves, my intuition is telling me something isn't right and that I should head in this direction. And if we don't follow it, to say, I see what I'm feeling intuitively and I'm choosing not to follow it at this point, or I'm choosing to ignore it at this point, or whatever, but noticing it, acknowledging it, and verbalizing it when you take a different path or ignore it, because it will help you to learn for sure. I know that the times I've noticed it and taken a different path and then realized later what it was warning me of, it helped me to learn and grow. It helped me to understand that it's always telling me the truth, even if I'm not exactly sure what it's telling me or why, and that it's always trying to protect me. What is it exactly? Where is it coming from? It's coming from your divine connection, your higher self, your soul, your divine team. It's that beautiful connectedness to everything, the universal consciousness. Your soul is part of your creator and of everything, as is your divine team, who are always there helping and guiding you as well with your best interest at heart. And they can see everything. Your soul can see everything. Everything beyond our three-dimensional world, your life plan, and what experiences you have ahead of you. They see, know, and feel everything that is happening at all times in all of the dimensions that affect you. And it's in that connectedness that you're being guided, because your human eyes and mind are limited. You are making decisions based on only what you can see and what your mind has experienced historically, which is also mostly fear-based. So intuition, heart-centered, and divine guidance are tapping into that which you cannot see and beyond what your mind knows. It's soul-based. It's basically like comparing being in airplane mode to being connected to the internet. When we aren't tapping into that divine part of ourselves and following the guidance, we are turning off the most important navigational system we could possibly have. Why would we ignore it? To be honest, we've been taught to ignore it by other humans, by systems and people that find it easier to control us if we don't realize how powerful we are when we are tapped into our soul. If we are kept in our fearful human minds, we feel unworthy, small, fearful. We don't see that no one has any power over us, that we are all part of our Creator, and that we can create the life and the world we want with our hearts. Because truly, once you come back to your divinity and live life from your heart and soul, life is easy. Things align for you. But it's a matter of tapping into your intuition and guidance all day, every day, to staying in a place of calm, ease, joy, and love, to the highest vibrations you can bring yourself to, and paying attention to what comes in. I have found that it takes time and patience to really be aware of it all, and to trust it, of course, to move with it, believe it, and to know that it's always in your best interest to do so. Mind you, you will learn and grow as you do, and some of the lessons will be a lot bigger and more challenging. It will teach you to trust what you feel. Our human world will teach you to think it over, to make logical decisions. But you will learn the hard way sometimes to always follow your instincts and guidance, even if you have to go against everyone else and do things that make sense to no one. And you will, trust me. I will give you some examples here. So I married my ex-husband when every fiber of my being was screaming at me not to. I actually had to drink a couple of pina coladas right before we got married to shut down the intuitive voice that was going off in my head. What the heck are you doing? Yeah, it was a lot of hard lessons in the years to follow, a lot of unhappiness and truly dishonoring myself. I had really ignored my guidance in all ways and continued to through almost 8 years of marriage. Oh, how we stuff down, ignore, and just tolerate the unhappiness, even when our intuition is always screaming at us. It's why so many people find some avenue to stuff their pain down and ignore their intuition in some way. Our world encourages it. It might be drinking, eating, or shopping, or something that would appear less unhealthy, but it's just another way to ignore it. Like overworking, extreme focus on health or fitness, or our appearance, or just filling your life with busyness to keep your intuition and feelings from creeping in and making you address them. Oh, how good humans are at using our mind to override our heart and soul. But it's truly the key to an unhappy life, or at least not the best one for us, the one that will bring us the most joy, abundance, and love. So what does it look like when you do follow your intuition, when you listen and act? Well, first off, I will say that over time, I have gradually, for the most part, eliminated all of the things I was doing to stuff down my feelings and my intuitive guidance. Rather than reacting in fearful ways, guided by my mind, I'm open to and embracing it all. If I feel that need to stuff things down, I stop myself and investigate the underlying feelings. What am I feeling and why? Where is it coming from? Sometimes it may be an old fear of unworthiness coming up around something, often because I'm getting an intuitive hit to do something, like an idea for a book I'm working on, but I have old fears about my worthiness in writing it. So I just need to be more aware, to not stuff it down, but to see it, love myself through it, and sit myself down to write. Mind you, sometimes this takes time to let it go, and you can't force it. Start by acknowledging the fear and not stuffing it. And that will start the process of shifting from following your fear mind to following your intuition. This past year, I've really moved to a place in my life where I'm surrendering to the divine, following my intuition and guidance. I'm paying close attention to the signs and taking action when it feels right. It's amazing how my life is evolving, and very quickly when I let go of all the old fears and just trust. And it's not that you need to turn off the brain. Some of the best intuitive hits come through your mind. It's a matter of learning to recognize what is an intuitive hit and when is your fearful mind trying to drive. But that's really it. How does it feel? Does it feel like it's fear-driven? Is your mind rationalizing your thoughts or decisions? Is it based on past experiences? Or does it feel light, positive, uplifting, and inspiring? Can you feel it in your heart? It will, over time, become clear to you what is true and what is not. If you're avoiding it, it's because it's true and requires a leap of faith or change or something you're afraid to admit, like maybe a mistake you thought you made. Maybe something is already in motion and you don't want to rock the boat on a gut feeling. I'll tell you this, it's important. If something doesn't feel right, you don't need a reason. Just don't do it. And if you're feeling pulled to do something in a good way, again, you don't need a reason if every bit of it feels right to you. This year, I have followed that guidance in big ways, and I continue to. From a deep realization that I wasn't honoring myself in my job and quitting it, to seeing that I had always dreamed of moving back to California and feeling divinely supported and following my heart on that dream, being very much guided to go to California with signs everywhere I went. I felt compelled to sell all my belongings when I was guided to take a small trailer and to start fresh. New energy. I was shown that I would be supported and trusted that. And money and insights and amazing things I'd always dreamed of doing started happening the more I trusted the guidance. Debts were paid. An amazing new job showed up for me. Beautiful new furniture, a full savings account, wonderful new friends, and a really balanced and easy new life, living where I wanted to live. And it didn't end there. The magic and the divine support continues in bigger ways, the more I follow, open to it, and trust. I received a big raise recently out of the blue. My guides are showing me how I can buy a house and that it will be financially easy for me, and so much more. It's just always about me paying attention and just being open to receive, noticing what they're showing me and checking in with how it feels. Mind you, it's not all flowers and sunshine. It's scary sometimes. My old fearful mind sometimes jumps in and I have to be aware of it and not follow it. It's like being led through a dark room by the hand. You just have to trust that you will see the light soon and that they've got you. In the midst of them showing me the possibility of buying a house, I went to look at some apartments recently just to see what was out there. My fearful mind really looking at options, probably. The apartment I saw was pretty nice. I felt myself wondering if I should take it. It was a lot better than my current apartment after all. Mind you, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was better. My mind was like, hey, better's good. You might not find better than this. Yep. Fearful old mind. Grab what you can in case you aren't worthy of better. Nope, I'm worthy. I'm not giving into the fearful mind. I laughed at myself and left. Nope, I will follow my guidance and not my mind that says to grab something up. I recognized the difference. Funny, but I've found that as I learn to trust my divine guidance, my guides sometimes leave things to the last minute. They make me sweat a little bit. It's really a true test of my faith, though, to see if I go into fear or follow in faith. And let me tell you, I've sweated it out a few times this year. I didn't have a lease until 2 weeks before I left for California. I didn't even know if I'd have the money in time for the trip. And I really didn't think I'd have a job lined up yet. But it all came together right before I left. It was crazy cool how when I let go and trusted, everything fell into place beautifully. Heck, they even lowered my rent at the last minute, and I got a big and unexpected signing bonus for the new job that really gave me a nice cushion financially. Seriously cool. Let me tell you that if I had pushed and tried to control everything, nothing would have worked out this well. It was truly divinely guided on every level. It's really a magical thing when you allow your divine team to drive. I wanted to give you some really concrete examples too of how I get intuitive hits and guidance as well, though, because I have found that I really need to pay close attention. It can be very in your face sometimes, but it can also be really subtle. And there are also times I totally see that they're trying to guide me, but I miss the message. Like, wait, what were they trying to confirm? What was I just thinking? It can be really frustrating, but they'll keep trying and you'll get it eventually. So just this week alone, I've been guided in so many different ways. First off, those moments that I get an out of the blue idea. Notice those, especially if it's on a topic that you weren't even thinking about. Feel it out, but often that's divine guidance. My guides confirm it, that it's from them sometimes with a noise. I have some solar chimes in my house, and when I get an intuitive hit and notice it, sometimes they will ring the chimes, just as extra confirmation for me that it was from them, that it was divine guidance and not my brain. Other ways are when you have a sudden feeling to go somewhere, to make a turn, to take a different route. I felt that one day this week and literally veered across 3 open lanes to make a turn when this feeling was so strong. It took me through a neighborhood I'd never been in and gave me some great ideas and inspiration about places I could live. The area made my heart light up, and that felt like a sign that there might be a future home there for me, or at least it was an opening for me to possibilities. I also had a moment this week when I was looking up mortgage brokers, and there was a long list of people. I looked down the list and let myself feel which person felt right to me. I also looked at their agent numbers and picked the one that not only felt right, but their numbers resonated with me. My guides also confirm things I do, say, and think with a noise usually. My phone beeps, my chimes make a sound, or there's even a loud noise or siren outside. I notice those moments and what I'm saying, doing, or thinking. Often they're confirming or bringing something to my attention. Sometimes they're even correcting me when I'm going down a fearful trail of thought and limiting myself, stopping it, bringing my attention to it, teaching me to observe and change what I'm doing. So notice the lessons too. Numbers and songs are also clear messages to me sometimes. I have personal meanings for many numbers and even signs and symbols that have meanings for me. And if I see something out of the ordinary or something crosses my path, I look it up. A single goose was flying straight down the street towards me one day, and you can bet I looked that one up. Also, pay attention to things said to you in passing or overheard conversations, videos you're drawn to, music, like I said, or books that are mentioned repeatedly. There's so many ways that you're being guided and grown. Your guidance will be very personal. Your relationship and connection with your own soul and your divine team, very different. I know, for example, that my team can be very funny in the way that they deliver messages sometimes. When I was working on my worthiness issues and thinking about money and having a bit of lack mentality, they started playing the song, "There's No Such Thing as Too Much Money." It cracked me up. They were getting their message across to me and doing it in a very lighthearted and fun way. I always pay attention to lyrics when I feel so inclined to do so. And I've gotten agreement with my divine team that the first song they play for me on my Pandora station every morning will have significance for me. It will be a message that I need to hear. Sometimes it makes me laugh or smile. Other times it makes me cry, but it always has meaning for me, even if I have to dig a little to figure it out. And yes, sometimes I have to go and look up the lyrics, but I do. But truly, sweet souls, there's nothing more important than this connection to your divinity, to everything that's going on beyond what you can see, to where your soul is guiding you, to that beautiful life ahead of you. It's about loving yourself enough to trust that, to believe in yourself and your worthiness, to override those old human fears and beliefs of lack, pain, and unworthiness, to see that you are a beautiful soul and that you are on an amazing journey. But you just need to believe in that and allow yourself to be guided, to trust what is beyond, to know that you are always loved, always held by your Creator, and that everyone wants the best for you. everyone at soul level. We are all cheering for each other. It's in everyone's best interest for everyone to be happy, for the good of all. So tapping into that divine energy is where you will raise your vibration and raise the vibration of everyone and everything. It's kind of a win-win-win. Love to you all on your journey, sweet souls. Trust your heart, trust your intuition, your divine team to guide you, and your beautiful soul. It's who you are. Let your soul lead, and you will absolutely always be on your highest and best possible path. And you will change the world for the better. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. Please subscribe to the podcast and check out all of our other resources, videos, blogs, and more at thewheelhouseproject.com. Remember to sign up for our email list while you're there. And also check us out at The Wheelhouse Project on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest.